Return to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. All right, guys, it's Sunday. It's the last day of my vacation, so we're just trying to cram in as many stories as we can to make sure you guys are up to date. But I have to say, I am falling under the weather. I am not feeling as good as I felt yesterday for some strange reason. I have a bad cold. I don't know if it's an end of season allergies or if I'm just developing a cold. I don't know, but we still got to rock this out because you guys need to know what's going on. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. Now, once again, my vacation ends today, which means tomorrow, back to business, back to the world of being a detective. I still will be updating you guys as best as I can, but it will not be as rapid fire as it is now. So we will most likely oftentimes be reacting to the news after the news has come out rather than breaking news, which is something we've come accustomed to doing in this last 10 days I was on vacation. Doesn't matter. We're here for you. If you want to hear our perspective, we will be here to give it to you. Lastly, I do have a cold, like I said, so if I sound a little congested, please do forgive me. I wanted to share this with you guys because there's a lot of different theories out there as to what was the political affiliation of the assassin. I don't know if YouTube is going to punish me for saying that word assassin, but that's what this gentleman is. He's an assassin. All right. And I personally don't really care what the person's political affiliation is, but I understand why people care. For me, this person did something evil and nobody deserves what happened to Charlie Kirk, regardless of what their views are. And we've seen in the last year this type of violence happen on both sides. Both sides. I mean, we just had some Minnesota lawmakers get killed by a person who, you know, on both sides. Then we had a governor that this crazy person tried to burn down his house. Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked. Then you have these attacks happening. President Trump, there was 2 attempts on his life while he was running for the presidency. Now we have Charlie Kirk. This is just a problem period that's happening in our country. But I understand why people don't want the person to belong to their side or whatever side. You know, I hate that we even talk like that because they don't want to be blamed or be accused of being extreme. I get it. I get it. Personally, I don't care, but a lot of people in this country do care. So in this interview, Governor Cox, which most people will recognize as a moderate individual, I think he's a Republican, but he's viewed as somebody who's moderate, is going to basically tell us what is the ideology of this guy. And all of the information I've gotten so far aligns with what he's saying. I don't have a dog to pick in this fight because I'm a centrist. I don't have a party. I'm partyless, okay? Some people say I'm soulless. You ain't got a political party, you must not have no soul, right? But it is what it is, okay? So let's listen to it. Let's react to this together. Hopefully, I'll muster some energy to finish out the live. You know, I'll definitely have the energy to finish out the live. All right, let's rock and roll, people. Appreciate you guys. And dudes, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Support the channel. We have over 100 people watching this right now. We definitely would like to get into that algorithm so that the show could be shown to a wider audience. Let's do it.
Many unanswered questions about the investigation.
One more thing, if you couldn't tell, big shout out, all credit goes to CNN. Once again, all credit goes to CNN State of the Union address. Well, not address, but channel. No, not channel. Show. That's what it is. State of the Union show. There we go.
Told the Wall Street Journal that it is, quote, very clear to us and to the investigators that this was a person who was deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology. Can you elaborate on that and be more specific?
Well, sure. So that information comes from the people around him, from his family members and friends. That's how we got that information. Again, there's so much more that we're learning and so much more that we will learn. There will be official charges will be filed on Tuesday, and there will be much more evidence and information available then. And again, we're interviewing all kinds of people, everyone that knows him, and trying to learn more about what that motive actually was.
Well, some outlets are reporting that the suspect lived with a transgender partner. Is that accurate? And are investigators looking at this part of his life as a possible motivation?
Yes, definitely. And yes, I can confirm that. I know that has been reported, and that the FBI has confirmed that as well, that the roommate was a romantic partner, a male transitioning to female. I can say
All
that.
right, so basically, he is saying that it's confirmed by the FBI and the information that he's received that the romantic partner of Tyler Robinson is a transgendered individual. Now, normally it doesn't matter what somebody's doing in their personal life, in their sex life, right? But it does matter, at least to me in this case, because I believe, my theory is that part of what he did to Charlie Kirk was him defending the right and the honor of his lover. Charlie Kirk spoke out immensely on transgendered issues. He was against transgender people using bathrooms of the sex that they identify with. He was against transgenders playing in the same sports with the sex that they identify with. He did not believe in transgenders, period, based off of his religious beliefs, period. So it matters to me. Normally it wouldn't matter, but it matters to me because it may have been a motive. And guess what? It matters to law enforcement as well. This all goes into motive. Let's keep going.
That he has been very cooperative. This partner has been incredibly cooperative, had no idea that this was happening, and is working with investigators right now.
All right. So now he just put another thing to bed, because we had a theory that it's possible that the girlfriend, the transgender girlfriend, may have radicalized Robinson. But the governor's saying right now that the transgender girlfriend had no idea this was going to happen. Now, it still doesn't answer my question, because I always give a two-parter, because once again, if I don't have the evidence or the facts, it doesn't make sense to just be hung up on one theory. You should always have more than one working theory. So my second theory, the first theory was, did the girlfriend know that the shooter was planning the shooting? And was the shooter radicalized by the trans girlfriend? Now, my second theory, which that one, based off of what the governor is saying, may not be correct. Sounds like that's a non-working theory. My second theory was, did the girlfriend find out afterwards that he had committed the crime? And what did they do after that? Now, that theory has not been debunked yet, because it looks like the evidence is pointing towards that after the crime, the transgendered girlfriend was made aware of the fact that he committed the crime, but it does not look so far that she took the opportunity to reach out to law enforcement. It looks like law enforcement reached out to her, and it's at that point that law enforcement reached out to her that she then cooperated. I have an issue with that. What do you guys think in the chat? Maybe we'll put a poll. Am I wrong for having an issue with Lance not going out there, or possibly Luna, I don't know which is the preferred name, and contacting law enforcement? I have an issue with them not contacting law enforcement as soon as they got that information. I have an issue with them only cooperating after law enforcement reached out to them. Let's keep going.
How is that relevant to the investigation when it comes to the motive? Are you learning that?
Sure. Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out right now. Again, it's easy to draw conclusions from that, and so we've got the shell casings, other forensic evidence that is coming in, and trying to piece all of those things together.
You said that the roommate is being very helpful. Has that individual explained to law enforcement what the mindset of the shooter was, and whether or not it is connected to his ideology or his situation as transitioning, as you just described?
I'm not sure about that piece right now, Dana.
Okay, so we're not sure if the fact that he was romantically involved, as you say, and whether or not
That's what we're trying to figure out right now. Again, it's easy to draw conclusions from that, and so we've got the shell casings, other forensic evidence that is coming in, and trying to piece all of those things together.
You said that the roommate is being very helpful. Has that individual explained to law enforcement what the mindset of the shooter was and whether or not it is connected to his ideology or his situation as transitioning, as you just described?
I'm not sure about not sure about that piece right now, Dana.
Okay, so we're not sure if the fact that he was romantically involved, as you say, with his partner who was transitioning is relevant to the motive of the murder, based on the investigation.
Well, sure. Again, all of these things we're trying to figure it out. I know everybody wants to know exactly why and point the finger, and I totally get that. I do too. And so I just want to be careful.
Well, this is the thing. He can't tell you that right now because he has not even been officially charged. You understand that a defense attorney that will one day be in charge of defending Tyler Robinson is watching this show right now. So this is part of the strategy of the prosecution to take their case forward. You can't tell the motive right now. You can't put that out there before the guy's even charged. You know, I mean, you could. It's not against the law, but it's just not good. You're giving too much information out there. So I think he might have that answer, but he just can't answer it right now. Because basically he's asking for she's asking for material witness testimony. She's asking for information that a material witness is giving law enforcement against the subject of the investigation. Because she wants to know if Lance, the transgendered girlfriend, received any information from Tyler that showed his motive for committing the crime. It would be improper for him to answer that question right now.
I haven't read all of the interview transcripts, and so we'll have to wait and see what comes out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We should all be careful. I guess just because that's out there are a lot of people drawing conclusions, and so I'm just trying to get as many facts as we can glean from you since you have been involved in the investigation. And on that, the social and gaming platform Discord released a statement.
Hold on, before they go into Discord, let me back it up real quick so we can hear that. Please hit that like button, guys. It is so important. The like button is not for the content. Hitting the like button doesn't mean that you are happy with what happened to Charlie Kirk or you're against it or you're for it, whatever. It doesn't matter. The like button is for the show. It is simply for the show that we're here together as a family covering this topic, reviewing this stuff, and we're acting as detectives trying to do an investigation on this. That is what the like button is for. And when you hit that like button, you get us into the algorithm and we get shown to a wider audience. All right. People are hitting me up already saying, hey, I found you in the algorithm. The algorithm sent your show to me and I love it and I'm happy I'm here. All right. And we're looking at our likes to dislikes ratios is super high. We're in like the 99 percentile. We're looking at the amount of subs we're getting. People are not desubbing. People are only subbing. This is a really good time for the show. We want this show to grow. We want other people to see the special work that we're trying to do here, giving a voice to the voiceless. We can't do it without you. So please do hit the like button. Let's keep going.
As we can glean from you, since you have been involved in the investigation. And on that, the social and gaming platform Discord released a statement saying its servers were in no way involved in Tyler Robinson's alleged plot to assassinate Charlie Kirk. But it did say there were, quote, communications between the suspect's roommate and a friend after the shooting where the roommate was recounting the contents of a note the suspect had left elsewhere. Boom. Can you tell us about...
So here we go. I don't know what he's going to say, and we're going to let him answer it. But this is what I'm talking about. Right? Discord, which is owned by Microsoft, by the way. Microsoft bought Discord a couple years back. So Discord, which is basically Microsoft, reviewed the messages that were sent between Lance, a.k.a. Luna, a.k.a. the transgendered girlfriend, and an unidentified friend right after the shooting, where Lance, a.k.a. Luna, is recounting to that friend the contents of a letter that Tyler wrote Lance that's basically talking about the shooting. And did Lance, a.k.a. Luna, contact law enforcement? The answer is no. No. So this is my thing. People are trying to frame Lance, aka Luna, like there's some type of hero. You're not a hero if you're only cooperating with law enforcement when FBI come knocking on your door. FBI, open up the door. If that's the only time you're cooperating, no, that's not being a hero. That's saving your own arse. That's all that is. That's, I don't want to be charged as a co-conspirator. Whatever, you can have everything. You can have whatever you want. Yeah, he told me right after it. I didn't know what happened before. You know, we call that in New York City, we call that cop in the fifth. Or cop in the plea. That's what we call in New York City. When I used to live in the hood many, many moons ago, don't live there no more, thanks be to God. We used to call it cop in the plea or cop in the fifth. That's what he did. That's what Luna did. Cop in the plea or cop in the fifth, or she rather. Oh, I didn't do anything. Whatever you need, here. But you did not. When we had this manhunt for 30-something hours, for 33 hours, there was a manhunt. You did not pick up the phone, not even to claim $100,000. You did not pick up the phone to call law enforcement, not even to claim $100,000. That is not the actions of a hero. Let's keep going.
That note that the shooter left?
So I can't yet. Again, those are things that are still being processed for accurate.
I'm gonna bring it back because I talked. I want you to get context.
Can you tell us about that note that the shooter left?
So I can't yet. Again, those are things that are still being processed for accuracy and verification, and will be included in charging documents.
Okay, so but the note was found, or the content of the note is known by law enforcement?
Again, I can't share any specifics. They're looking at everything right now.
Understood. I just want to go back to my first question about what you told the Wall Street Journal about that this is a person indoctrinated with leftist ideology. And the reason why I think it would be great to be more specific is because your goal of trying to lower the temperature, you said that this is based on investigation and interviews with people who knew him. Did they just use the term leftist?
All right, you guys know that I'm not feeling well, that I got a bad cold. I'm just going to scoot down and mute the mic so I could blow my nose. I apologize for that, but I'll let it continue to play.
Ideology, or did they give specifics?
Yeah, there are conversations that were discussed specifically about Charlie Kirk, other conversations about the direction that this was going. And look, my job is just to tell people I really don't have a dog in this fight. If this was MAGA and a radicalized MAGA person, I would be saying that as well. If the friends were saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what they're sharing. And so I do think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this. And in this case, it happened as much as people wish it wasn't or don't want it to be this. These are the facts that are being presented to us. If there are additional facts that would point otherwise, but family discussions, parents, this is what they're saying, and these things happen. And so it's okay to have these discussions.
Listen, absolutely.
All right, so basically, he just said that it is in fact a fact based off of their investigation that this guy had left-leaning ideology. Let's go back a little bit. I was blowing my nose, not feeling too well, so I want to make sure I get this in full context. But he also alluded to my understanding that there were conversations that were had about Charlie Kirk. I don't know if he's referencing the conversations that Robinson had with his family member during the family dinner, or if these are conversations that were had via text message on Discord or other platforms. Let's listen up.
Are the facts that are being presented to. I think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this. We're saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what other conversations about the direction that this was going. And look, my job is just to tell people I really don't have a dog in this fight. If this was MAGA and a radicalized MAGA person, I would be saying that as well. If the friends were saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what they're sharing. And so I do think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this. And in this case, it happened as much as people wish it wasn't or don't want it to be this. These are the facts that are being presented to us. If there are additional facts that would point otherwise, but family discussions, parents, this is what they're saying, and these things happen. And so
family discussions, parents, etc. Got you.
It's
This kind of mirrors what we discussed yesterday when we went over the Andy No investigation, where relatives of Twigs and and neighbors were basically saying as much. Let's keep going in terms of the political ideology. Let's keep going.
okay to have these discussions.
Listen, absolutely. And I'm just trying to get more facts, more details of the facts that you're putting out there. One last question on that. You just said right now, which is something that you mentioned on Friday, is that he had discussions with family members about Charlie Kirk. Do you have specifics on what he was saying about Charlie Kirk to his family?
Just not a fan. That's all I can say.
Okay, not a specific reason why. McKay Coppins from the
just
mentioned on Friday is that he had discussions with family members about Charlie Kirk. Do you have specifics on what he was saying about Charlie Kirk to his family?
just not a fan. That's all I can say.
Okay, not a specific reason why. McKay Coppins from The Atlantic is reporting that President Trump called you after your remarks on Friday, and that the president told you, quote, you know, the type of person who would do something like that to Charlie Kirk would love to do it to us. What was your response to the president in that conversation?
Well, it was a long conversation, by the way. We talked about lots of things, but it was very sobering. And again, he's not wrong. I mean, as he knows better than anyone, as someone who literally was injured by a bullet. I mean, a fraction of an inch away from being killed a year ago. He understands that better than anyone. I would also just note that he also mentioned multiple times that he was grateful for the press conference and the message that we shared. And so I'm grateful, you know, that he's talked about nonviolence. He's quoted Charlie Kirk on the nonviolence issue. I understand he's also very angry, and I get that. This is his close personal friend, and anger is a normal reaction.
So he was grateful for the press conference. Others in his orbit, Governor, were not. Steve Bannon talked about you calling to tone down the rhetoric, saying Spencer Cox is a national embarrassment in a time where we need action. He tells us to sing Kumbaya and hold hands with Antifa. This is not a time for pontificating. This is a time to
that's a SAT word. What the hell does that mean? Trickly? I know what pontificating is, but wow, I got to look that up. That's a SAT word. Let's keep going.
Declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization and have the FBI go kick down some doors. What's your response to Steve Bannon?
Well, again, Mr. Bannon is angry, and rightfully so. And I'm not saying we have to just sing Kumbaya and hold hands. What I'm saying is we actually should disagree. I think
it means excessively sentimental. Now, I disagree with Steve Bannon. I think we can do both. I think we can turn down the rhetoric and start trying to coalesce around, I think, the true meaning of this tragedy, which is freedom of speech. It's the true meaning of this tragedy. Fighting for freedom of speech. For people who didn't agree with Charlie Kirk, that fight shows even more patriotism because you're willing to fight for something that you don't believe in, for somebody to speak about things that you do not agree with and you don't believe in. And of course, people who agreed with them, it's still a fight about freedom of speech. So I think that is the real fight here. So dividing us and raging war against half of the country that doesn't necessarily agree with your ideology is not the right thing to do. I think we could do both. I think we can ramp up our investigation on these, radicalized people, no matter where we find them, whether we're going to find them on the left or the right, it doesn't matter. We need to stamp down on this radical ideology that's taking over our country. And then we also need to come together and to unify. I think we do both. I definitely think we do both. Let's keep going.
Charlie represented that better than anyone. Charlie said some very inflammatory things, and in some corners of the web, that's all people have heard. But he also said some other things about forgiveness. He said some amazing things about when things get dark, putting down our phones, reading scripture, going to church, talking to our neighbors. He said that we have to engage, and that's what I appreciate most about Charlie Kirk. Said if we don't keep talking, that's when the violence starts. Look, there are conflict entrepreneurs out there who benefit from radicalizing us, and I'm not one of those. I don't know that that's particularly helpful, but he is right at this. We need to find out how this happened, and we need to stop it from happening.
That's a fact.
You called social media a cancer on our society. I know you have made talking about social media one of your key issues as governor of Utah. What should or even can government do to cure this cancer, as you call it?
Well, there's some things that we're working on for sure. We have to get phones out of the classroom. We're doing that in Utah. Many states are doing that right now. We have to hold the largest companies in the history of the world with combined $1 trillion market caps. We have to hold them responsible for the algorithms that are pushing us. Again, they're hijacking our agency. They're hijacking our free will with these dopamine hits. Same chemical reaction as fentanyl, getting us addicted to these platforms, and outrage releases a dopamine hit for sure. And they are taking no responsibility for this. In fact, they're suing the state of Utah to stop the most comprehensive social media reforms in the world's history.
I think the most important thing is we need to stop these companies from targeting our children. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok. They're targeting our children. My son was playing Roblox the other day. He's 6 years old. I go look at his his tablet, and he's in a war game. Yeah, they look like blocks, but there's blood and guts as he's shooting people. This is crazy. I instantly took it from him and said, you can't play that. You can't play that. You know, they're targeting our children. It looks cutesy and all that, the way that the characters are designed, but it's basically numbing our children, and it's indoctrinating them into a culture of violence. This is the battle that we have to fight in this next century. And in other centuries, it was a battle for independence. Then came a battle for freedom. Then came a battle for civil rights. Then came a battle against communism. Now, we're going to be facing a battle for our very souls, ladies and gentlemen. We will be facing a battle for our very souls. You heard it here on True Crime with Strategic. Let's keep going.
Happening right here, and we absolutely have to hold them accountable.
Just real quick, you have said that we're in a dark chapter, and you're not sure if it's the end of a dark chapter or beginning of a darker one. Is your view of America right now shaken?
Yeah, I mean, if your view of America is not shaken right now, then there's something wrong with you. This is a direct assault on America, a direct assault on every single one of us. Of course, it's an assault on Charlie, and we love Erica and her kids and his family. But this is us, and this is our chance. This is our moment. We've had periods like this in the past. I mentioned the late '60s and early '70s. But if we're waiting for a president or a governor to get us out of this dark chapter, then it will never happen. We can't, I don't understand this, again, giving our agency up, waking up every day and saying, well, what did the president say today? That's going to determine how I react. Or what does the governor say today? That makes no sense to me.
What he's saying is so correct. Let me let him finish, and then I'm going to add my commentary.
Every one of us has to look in the mirror and decide, are we going to try to make it better, or are we going to make it worse? And I pray that God will help us find him again and find our souls and find each other again.
You know, listen, this generation thinks they're so sophisticated, and those of us who are plus 40, we don't know nothing. we're misinformed, we're this, we're that, we're closed-minded, whatever. When I was 19, 20, 21, 22, I was not even thinking about politics. I was busy working, going to school, get my education, trying to get laid, trying to go to the clubs and have a good time, living my life. I started getting into politics when the stakes started mattering to me. And I'm not saying that this is the right way of doing it. I'm not saying that. I may be wrong. I'm just telling you my journey. When I got my first kid and now I'm working on my first house and I'm working and I had a career where I had dental and medical and all this extra stuff and I'm living on my own, that's when I started worrying about politics because politics mattered to me. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, nothing mattered to me unless they had a world war and I'm getting drafted. I wasn't making much money, so I was just by default, Republican or Democratic president, didn't matter. By default, I paid almost no taxes because I was a part-time worker. Just by default, as long as I followed the rules, I didn't have to worry about the police. The only thing I had to worry about is who's going to lay me, how much am I going to drink at the club, and doing my schoolwork and going to work. That was the sum of my existence. Now, my sister's in the chat talking with the throw up face. You was probably doing the same thing. Now you old. She be hating. Everybody, thumbs down Aki. Anyway, now you got these folks who are 17, forget about 18, which is the legal age in America. 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And what are they worrying about? They're worrying about international problems. They're worrying about generational conflicts that have happened for hundreds of years. People have been fighting. They're worrying about socialism and fascism and this and that and communism and that. And it's like, what is happening here? And the problem is these are serious issues. These are serious issues that only really adults, people whose brains have finished developing, can handle. So if you're dealing with these issues at such a long age, it's just going to overwhelm you. It's going to make you depressed. It's going to make you angry. It's going to make you feel helpless. It might, depending on whatever side you're on, radicalize you. I think our children are no longer being children. They think that we're doing such a horrible job running the world that they have to hurry up and grow up and run the world for us. They think that because their brains aren't mature enough to understand that there's a whole lot more to this world than just feeling like you got a cause. The world is more complicated than hanging out with your buddies and screaming at cops. I don't know, man. We got a little bit more for you guys before we get out of here. Big shout out to Rosario with a $10 super chat. Basically, let's round it out. Round it up a cent. Says the media and politicians need to take accountability for their active and passive encouragement in this issue. They shake hands behind the curtains after they just fueled these unhinged people. I agree 1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%. It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment. You see these folks come on these shows and have these spirited debates. I think CNN has one with the African-American lady and the Caucasian male. The African-American lady, I forgot her name. She's a liberal person. And the Caucasian male is a conservative. And they're always going at each other. And it's like, this is not real. It can't be real. You know what? Because if it was real, how can we come to this table every single night and keep doing this and not truly hate each other and not say, I quit. I'm not going to sit next to this person no more. It has to be fake. It has to be orchestrated that after the cameras go off and the director says, cut, both of them give each other a hug, say, yeah, you did a really good job, Johnny boy. Oh, Sally Sue, you got me with that one. That was a good one. I like that one. Man, I'm going to steal that little slogan you said. That's what they do. And they laugh to the bank. They both lock hands and they skip and they laugh with their $1.5 million contracts. They skip to the Hamptons with their $1.5 million contracts. Meanwhile, their spouses are backstage high-fiving each other like, yeah, our husband and our wife is making all that money for us. Yeah, they're all in on it. They're all in cahoots. The money's too good for them to be honest. It's too good. It's pretend money. It's I'll say whatever you want me to say money. You probably say whatever, many of you probably say whatever they tell you say too if they told you $3.5 million contract for 2 years. You say it too. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with you 100%, Rosario. We thinking the same. We are thinking the same. All right, let's go to the next one. This is, I'm told by the research crew, I haven't watched this myself, that this is a good breakdown of what happened with Charlie Kirk. Let's do it. And then I want to go to a very disturbing video before we get out of here and we wrap this up. Very disturbing. I think it's diabolical. You guys involved in the Charlie Kirk situation, you guys will be the judge.
The kickoff for Charlie Kirk's 14-city tour was here in Orem, Utah, about 40 miles away from Salt Lake City at Utah Valley University. Thousands of people, mainly students, were gathering in a large open courtyard. Minutes before the shooting, video from Kirk's own X account shows an open space and a barrier between the tent and the students, with multiple security guards standing at the fence line. Police say there were 6 campus police officers there as well.
A lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what.
Kirk was a rock star among young conservatives, largely because of events like this, meeting college students up close on campuses across the country. Police say roughly 3,000 people showed up for this one, all watching and listening.
People in the chat saying they conspiracy theorists. I am too. Usually I have my tinfoil hat. I went to go make a new one because the other one got too jumbled up. And wifey was like, you're not using my tinfoil that I'm cooking with to make no stupid hat. So I need to go to the supermarket and go buy me a box of tinfoil. So don't worry, people. Soon, especially hopefully when I feel better, I'm going to go to the supermarket. We're going to get a new tinfoil hat. We just got the wig right now, but we're not in court, so we can't use the wig. I'm going to get the tinfoil hat because this Charlie Kirk thing is definitely tinfoil hat worthy. Let's keep going.
As it happened, Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings.
Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Yeah, I know for a fact they weren't going to show it, but I'm so traumatized from watching that video. And this is huge for me because very few things in this world traumatize me because I've seen everything. Anybody who watches this channel, you hear all my stories from being out there doing patrol and all that good stuff. You guys know I've seen some things, but just by hearing, I'm looking at the chat and I heard the bang in my speaker, in my headphones, and I got traumatized after watching the original video. This is horrible. The worst thing that happened is where he shot him and where America got to see Charlie Kirk fall and the way he fell. That is what is going to make a martyr out this guy. And if these individuals, whether it was just one individual or a cabal of people, if their goal was to silence Charlie, they just did the exact opposite. They really did. It's really horrible. Somebody told me go to Walmart and get the Reynolds wrap, the heavy duty one. It's better than we'll get the Walmart Great Values better than the Reynolds. I'm definitely gonna need the most heavy duty. Sorry, my brain went blank because I'm not feeling good. Let's keep going. I wanted to say full play, but my brain just went blank, man, because I'm feeling terrible. I'm crashing before your very eyes.
Kirk is rushed into an SUV and taken to the hospital. Panic crowds ran as police jumped in.
And let's be advised, UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
In the scramble after Kirk was shot, video taken from inside a building captures what appears to be someone running across a rooftop. That rooftop is this building, called the Losi Center, less than 200 yards away from the spot where Kirk was hit. If that runner was the shooter, he would have been positioned about here.
Okay.
From this shot, you can see the rooftop of the Losi building is pretty easy to access. It's connected to another building by an elevated walkway, which, as you can see, is only separated from the roof by a railing.
Okay.
Aerial footage after the shooting shows police tape on the roof of the Losi building. And at about 12:36 p.m., an officer describes a possible suspect.
He's wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, long rifle. Is on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest.
6 hours later, Utah Valley University issued an all clear, saying the threat is over. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old father of 2 young children, did not survive.
Right. Very sad stuff. All right, let me just go to fan funding, and then we'll go to our last segment. We'll get out of here. Big shout out to Claire Riley with a $2 super pound from the UK. Says, thanks for being so non-biased. I love you from UK. Appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me with the international audience. Nina Drew with a 99-cent super sticker. You are appreciated, Nina Drew. Do definitely love the support that you give the channel. All right, guys, please hit that like button. You guys can see I'm under the weather. I'm not feeling too well, but I'm still here. So please hit that like button so we can get into that algorithm and be seen by a wider audience. Let's go ahead and check out the last thing on our agenda for today. This gentleman, who I'm going to show you the video of it, basically went to Charlie Kirk's memorial and he defaced the memorial. But it is what it is. You know, people are going to do things like that. You're going to get a lot of anger, a lot of hate, a lot of misunderstanding as to what this moment is. There's not a moment that anybody is glorifying anything that Charlie said. If you're a fan, sure, you have every right to glorify what the things that he said. This is a moment of acknowledging Charlie Kirk's humanity. This is a moment of mourning with his family. His children, those very young, beautiful children, didn't know anything about their father's ideology. They didn't know anything about what their father does. They just had an understanding that their father probably talked for a living. You guys know how simple children are. What does your father do for a living? What's your father's name? His name is Charlie Kirk. What does he do? My daddy speaks. That's probably the conversation you'd have with such young children. Their dad is gone now. And all we should be doing collectively is mourning the fact that a person was literally taken away from this earth for speaking. On this channel, we cover people who do horrendous things to children, horrendous things to adult females. We cover stories where men take the bodies of other people without permission. And yet, very rarely, if ever, do those people face the wrath of death. Most of the time, they go to jail for a couple of years, if that. Look at the story that we covered with Jake Harrow, where he beat his daughter, his 10-week-old daughter, so badly that she is permanently disabled with 3% of her brain function. She can't sleep. Well, she can sleep, but she can't poop. She can't even swallow her own spit. She can't talk. She can't think. She can't smile. She can't frown. She can't do anything. Jake Harrow got 0 days in jail for doing that. And then he went on to actually kill, allegedly, his 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Harrow. Why? Because we did not enact justice on him when he destroyed the first child that he sired. These are the type of people we have in this world. How do we justify ending the life of Charlie Kirk when we can't even justify taking the lives of monsters like Jake Harrow, Stephen Stearns, Brian Kohlberger, etc., etc., etc.? So this man went and defaced the Charlie Kirk memorial, and he saw it fit to wear the same T-shirt that the Charlie Kirk assassin, Tyler Robinson, wore during his assassination of Charlie Kirk. Truly diabolical, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to read this quick article. See, it's just one paragraph, and then I will play the video for you, and then we'll get out of here, okay? A man was arrested after allegedly trespassing and destroying a memorial at Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix on Sunday morning. Phoenix police officers were directed to the man accused of damaging a memorial in front of Turning Point USA headquarters near 48th Street and Beverly Road. Phoenix police say officers were already in the area to assist in traffic control. The memorial was made by community members to remember the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, co-founder of the not-for-profit organization who was assassinated while speaking at a Utah university early this week. The suspect, later identified as 19-year-old Ryder Corral. See, once again, mind is not fully developed, still immature. You okay, baby? I got you. I'll be up in 5 minutes, literally. Mind is not mature. Mind is not fully developed, right? Making really poor decisions, like going down crass, unclassless decisions, right? Like going down, you know, to a memorial and stomping on it. Come on. You know, this is what I'm talking about. These people, they think they know more than us adults, but they're not prepared for this world. And they're adopting these very mature concepts, worldly concepts that they're not ready for. They have not been prepared for with the wisdom that comes with age. Let's keep going. Was detained by witnesses until he was taken into custody by responding officers. There was no serious injuries. Corral will be booked on multiple charges to include criminal damage and disorderly conduct. More details expected released on Sunday afternoon after Corral has been formally booked. All right, so let's go watch the video for ourselves. All right, this Fox News video actually sucks. Let's go and get a video up here where they get him, which kind of shows, there we go. This is a better video. There's no sound, by the way, guys. And then the police got him. So he was stomping on the memorial. A civilian grabbed him up, threw him to the ground. Then the police took him into custody. And it's unfortunate that some people think that this is morally okay. And they have undercovers in the crowd, obviously. And look at the shirt that he's wearing. Look at the shirt. It's the same shirt that Tyler Robinson wore. Same exact shirt. He went out of his way to either buy the shirt or he already had it. I'm sure it's not a shirt that's exclusive. And he decided it'd be a good idea to take this type of action. We got to do better, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do better. We just posted a video. I don't know if you guys checked it out, but we just posted a video of a young woman who basically went on a rant that Charlie Kirk should have been taken out much sooner and that they should not have stopped with Charlie Kirk. They should have went on and went after politicians, went after mayors, and then she closed her statement by basically asking for Charlie Kirk's wife and children to be assassinated as well. We have that video posted up on our site. This is getting out of hand. That's why I'm saying it's a time for healing, because the escalation will not do anything but destroy our country. E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. This is a time for healing, not a time for sectarianism like we're in Iraq or Afghanistan. We are not Iraqis. We are not Afghanistan people. We are Americans. It doesn't matter what color we are. It doesn't matter what shade we are. It doesn't matter what gender we are. It doesn't matter what our hobbies are. We all fall under that flag. We are Americans. And it's a time for us to come together, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys be well. Thank you for everybody who supported the channel. Please make sure you hit that like button so we can get into the algorithm. I'm going to try and get better. I won't come back live for the rest of the day unless we get some really probative information, because I need to get some rest because I got to go to work tomorrow. If I call out from work tomorrow because I don't feel well, you know how it is. Anybody who works in, these type of atmosphere, oh, he's just trying to extend his vacation. He not really sick. He don't want to come to work. He want to, yeah. We know that's what's going to happen. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to try and get some rest and be ready for work tomorrow. And I think I got to meet with a DA. I don't think I could call out because I got trial this week and I got to prep tomorrow. That's what it is. I got to prep tomorrow. So I have to go to work. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.